Welcome back to Turkish Star Files, the place where celebrity whispers turn into heartbeat stories you can feel through your screen. Today, settle in for one of those nights destiny scribbles in bold ink, a night when two names we thought would never share the same frame again found themselves drawn together by the magnetic pull of unfinished chapters. Yes, we're talking about Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel, and what unfolded at a glittering birthday celebration that began as a social calendar highlight and ended as a quiet earthquake for the entire entertainment world. Before we dive into the shiver-inducing moments and the glances that said more than words, make sure you're subscribed, tap that like button so the algorithm knows you live for truth wrapped in glamour, and consider becoming a channel member to be first in line when tomorrow's secrets knock. Ready to witness the instant the past reached out and tapped the present on the shoulder? Stay close, on Turkish Star Files, the story never stops breathing. Istanbul promised a dreamy evening. A star-swept birthday for the ever-radiant Yağmur Yüksel, held in a venue so exclusive that even the valet whispers felt curated. The invitations were silk-soft and tastefully veiled, sparking murmurs across production halls the moment they landed. Producers compared guest lists in hushed tones, stylists dropped the names of gowns like spellwork, and yet no one, not even the most daring speculators, dared to forecast the twist that would steal the breath from the room. The surprise wasn't the mirror-bright decor, nor the tidal wave of VIPs shimmering in designer silhouettes. It was the trembling possibility that dared to walk through the door, the presence of Barış Baktas, the man who once occupied the throne in Yağmur's heart, the ex whose love story with her still echoes across fan pages like a chorus that refuses to fade. The venue felt like a movie set where opulence meets restraint. From the floral arrangements, a haze of ivory and blush, to the lighting that moved like a slow poem across the walls, everything conspired to flatter the night. Guests arrived wrapped in couture confidence, the air glimmering with perfumes that told stories of old summers and newer fortunes. At the center of that constellation stood Yağmur, luminous and untouchable, a figure turned from light itself. Her dress sculpted the room into attention, her smile warmed the edges of even the most guarded conversation. The atmosphere was smooth as silk until the question started to shiver from one circle to the next, first as a rumor, then as an undeniable presence. Is Barış here? When the doors opened for him, it wasn't a mere entrance, it was a fault line forming under polished marble. Conversations thinned like mist. A hush pressed down, delicate but absolute. Heads pivoted almost involuntarily, as though guided by a single compass. There he was. Barış Baktas, striking in disciplined elegance, the very picture of a man arriving with purpose and outward calm. He didn't hustle for attention, he didn't pitch himself into the spotlight. Everything about him, his simple, restrained suit, his measured steps, the way he nodded politely without lingering, suggested a decision made after long consideration, a choice to show up while knowing the weight of every eye in the room. For a flicker of a second, the crowd widened just enough for him and Yağmur to exist in a straight line of sight. Those who swear they know the language of brief glances will tell you that something electric ran between them, a current that traveled without noise. Yağmur, the consummate professional, didn't falter in her hostess role. She kept the energy afloat, toast after toast, like a captain guiding a yacht through a suddenly restless sea. But those closest to her circle felt the shift, sensed the ghosts pull up chairs at tables they were never invited to. The room didn't lose its shine, but somewhere within the glitter, a thread of tension began to tug. Music grew brighter as the night unfolded, laughter trying to outdance the undertone of memory. The moment of the cake approached, and body language began to tell its own careful story. Barış placed himself at a respectful distance, seeming almost to paint a boundary around himself so the cameras wouldn't capture them side by side. He clapped at the right beats, even let a small smile break through, yet the quiet around his gaze felt like the past had left fingerprints there. Yağmur, meanwhile, floated through congratulations and kisses on the cheek with practiced grace, though at the exact instant the candles flared, she appeared to angle her eyes toward the ceiling, away from any possibility of locking onto his. To some, it looked like tenderness written in invisible ink, to others, it was the kind of caution that only a healed wound can teach. Tell me, Turkish Star Files family. Is inviting an ex to a birthday a sign of maturity or an emotional boomerang waiting to be thrown? Is it proof that grown people can coexist with clean edges, or an invitation for memories to sing too loudly? Drop your answers below. Your voices are the heartbeat that makes this channel feel like a living room where the city confides its secrets. As the night slid toward its soft landing, the real headline moment didn't come with fanfare. It happened in a pocket of quiet near a shaded corridor, a sliver of space where the music felt muted and the lights didn't reach so greedily. Observers, the kind who miss nothing, caught sight of Barış and Yağmur stepping close enough to exchange more than pleasantries, less than promises. No cameras, no staged smiles, just a brief encounter loaded with unspoken paragraphs. Did they talk at length, or was it simply a private happy birthday framed in subtext? No one outside that sliver knows. But what is certain is this: shortly after, Barış left. He didn't check in at any after parties. He didn't linger for an encore. He slipped away with a silence that felt almost ceremonial, the kind of exit that turns a night into a question mark. When the last guests drifted out and the confetti started losing its sparkle, Yağmur's expression softened in a way only the final minutes can allow. Between the satisfaction of a triumphant celebration and the gravity of old echoes, her face carried a blend that left friends wondering what city her thoughts had wandered to. And the morning after, her fans woke to a post that landed like a sigh at dawn. A simple line, rich with implication, a new era, new intentions, and the truths that still live quietly in the heart. It wasn't dramatic, and yet it felt like a curtain lifting ever so slightly, enough to show the outline of something still moving behind it. Meanwhile, the digital silence from Barış throughout the next day turned into a chorus of speculation. When two people decide that saying nothing is the most eloquent language, the world listens harder. By midday, the internet's rumor alleys were brimming. Guests who had left the party posted cryptic captions. Little nods to destiny and timing, the kind of messages that hint without confessing. Some wrote about how certain meetings are less coincidence and more gravity. Suddenly, insiders began to murmur, was this encounter orchestrated? Did mutual friends act as the invisible bridge? One version suggests that Barış accepted the invitation at the 11th hour after wrestling with it, a yes that came wrapped in hesitation. Another whispers that Yağmur had no idea he'd appear, that her initial surprise had nothing to do with performance and everything to do with reality arriving without knocking. What everyone agrees on is that the night passed without public fireworks, and yet there was no denying the tremor beneath the calm. There were details almost too delicate to notice unless you were looking for them. During the cake's applause, when the room swelled as one, he joined the rhythm, and for the tiniest flicker, an affectionate warmth crossed his face. At the same beat, witnesses say Yağmur's gaze floated elsewhere, as if the moment was too full to hold. Later, a song threaded through the speakers, one of those tracks loaded with private significance, the kind that silently underlines chapters you never fully close. Their eyes met, if only for a heartbeat, and then darted away with the speed of a match extinguished by a careful breath. Nothing was loud, but everything was audible to anyone who's ever loved and then learned to walk in the same city as their history. So here we are, perched on the edge of a cliff made of maybes. Was this the spark of a reconciliation or the gentle closing of a door that had been left ajar for too long? Given the intensity of their past and the public nature of the heartbreak that followed, the fact that they shared oxygen under the same chandelier again is already a headline written in capital letters. The manner in which Barış carried himself, restrained, respectful, almost austere, whispers that if there is any path back, it will be slow and careful, each step weighed, every glance negotiated. In the days since, talk within the industry has turned to reports of group meetings with mutual friends, to hints that old grievances are being revisited with adult patience and kinder vocabulary. And yet, neither has issued a statement, a press note, a hint more than what their eyes already said. Their silence isn't empty, it's a room with its own echo. To our Turkish Starfiles family, consider this your invitation to weigh the scales. Would you want to see Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel sharing the same set again, acting side by side with all that lived-in chemistry audiences never forget? Or do you think the real story belongs off camera, where second chances test whether the heart can rewrite what time has edited. Tell us if you believe in timing's stubborn magic, in the way certain names keep finding each other in crowded rooms. If this deep dive stirred your curiosity, give this video a like, it helps more than you think. Hit subscribe and ring that bell, because you know this tale isn't done singing. And if you crave early access and insider extras, our join button is waiting with a velvet rope lifted just for you. Thank you for being here, for feeling every note with us. Until the next Turkish Star Files exclusive, keep your eyes where stories bloom, on the threshold between what was and what might be.